Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to get to spend a little bit of time with you all and talk about your practice, talk about your clients, talk about making your life easier. Our session today is titled Beyond Payments, and that'll make a little bit more sense once I introduce myself. My name is Amy Mann, and I am the Director of Creative Services for CPA Charge. We are an online payment solution developed specifically for CPAs and accounting professionals to give them an easy way to accept online credit, debit, and e-check payments from their clients. I live in Austin, Texas, where right now it's about 482 degrees outside. I started my career not in payments, but actually in education. So I was an English and literature teacher for the first half of my life. Transitioned from that into actually working as a reference librarian. I got a little bit more into the research side of my field, and then kind of decided to take my writing skills and show on the road and get into the marketing and marketing communications side of things. So for the past more than 10 years, and I won't say how many more, I've been working with professional services industries, helping them with everything from marketing, web marketing, payments and payments related services, and security. So it's been a fun ride, and I am a very proud dog owner and lover. I am joined today by, you cannot see her, but tiny Mona Lisa Saperstein is in the corner of the room here. She's ready to weigh in. And so if you hear her, we're just going to take her barks as gospel, and know that what we're saying is on the right path. But yeah, if you have any cute dogs at home, I'm going to put my email up later on in the presentation. Please send them my way. I would love to see them and meet them. But we're talking about beyond payments, right? So obviously I'm in a payment space. I've been in fintech for a while here in Austin, Texas. And so payments is something I talk about a lot. It's something I'm passionate about. It's something that is weirdly fun. You might not think financial technology sounds like a super cool thing, but it actually legitimately is, and it's really great. And when people think about fintech, when people think about, what we're doing here, they think about it, quite literally in dollars and cents. It's facilitation, it's a payment, it's transactional, it's all of these, very small conceptions of what payments mean and what it could mean to you as a professional and as an individual. And so what we're going to dig into a little bit today in this, more relaxed fit TED Talk kind of style is what does this really mean? What does financial technology and online payments and all of this actually mean to professionals in a space like yours? Because the reality is it is the dollars and the cents. It is getting paid for the work you do. It's all of that, of course, but it's so much more and offers so much more to you and to your clients. And so that's what we're going to dig into today. That's what we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about. So I'm so excited to share all of this with you today. I am far from the first person to remark on these companies that we see represented before us, right? But today's tech leaders deliver effortless experiences. They deliver frictionless contact. And we come back to these three examples over and over again because they do it better than anyone else. Amazon eliminated so many barriers for individuals from an acquisition standpoint and from a payment standpoint. So, they eliminated the need to leave your house to go and do things. They eliminated the need to comb the internet or comb other sources for recommendations for products and services, or when they first started off, just books, because they compiled all of that for us and have even started recommending things to us that maybe we didn't even know that we needed, but I have absolutely purchased all of it. So, Netflix eliminated the need to go to the video store and having a closing time put on when we could secure entertainment. We now have immediate 24-hour access to everything that we want, right at the tips of our fingers. And so they've really pioneered that space. And Uber has eliminated so many of the traditional pain points of ride sharing. They've eliminated the taxi cab hailing and kind of waving down a car. They've eliminated the physical transactional payment at the end of that interaction. I can't tell you how many times I got in a cab, got to my or close to my destination, and when the driver found out that I didn't have cash on hand, they drove me to an ATM so that I could pay them in cash rather than using a credit card or anything like that. All of this was clunky. That was the hailing a cab, the paying with cash or having to go to another location, clunky, clunky, clunky. Uber eliminated all of that, streamlined it, totally took the friction out of that. And when we talk about frictionless, when we use that word, what we're talking about is removing barriers, removing anything that is going to take time out of you being able to do what you need to get done, and your clients or your coworkers or whoever you're working with doing what they need to get done. And when we look at these three examples here, right, all three of these were built on the back of payment technology that eliminated steps and allowed people to better interact with these tools, better interact with these products. Again, we don't ever think about, like actively paying for Amazon, like it just happens in the background, and it makes that a much more seamless interaction. Think about your interaction with Netflix. There's not much to talk about because it's all happening behind the scenes. And in a lot of ways, online payments give us that same opportunity as professionals. Online payments, now granted, we're probably not running, the Uber of CPA firms on our side of things, but it lets us eliminate friction in really meaningful ways. Mona agrees. She's a simple going gal, and she just wants everything to be as easy as possible. But it eliminates friction in meaningful ways that it's going to simplify your life, and it's going to delight your clients. We're going to talk about that a lot. Online payments let you do all of these things, improve communication by increasing transparency. People can search for records of receipts in their email or know what they've paid you immediately, rather than having to wait for, checks to clear or things to go through the mail. It really lets you extend your hours of service and offer a 24-hour virtual service. If you're only allowing clients to pay you in your office or by mailing in a check, you're really doing them a disservice, because think about the number of clients you work with who work, and their hours of operation are the same as yours. And so to get paid, you're asking them to dip into their personal time to pay you for what you've done. And it's really going to make it hard for them to, swing by your office during your business hours if that conflicts with their business hours. It can be a headache. It's friction. But if you can allow people to pay online, you can take what would otherwise take weeks and turn it into seconds worth of effort, or you can eliminate it altogether, put them on a recurring payment plan, which we're going to talk about later. And nobody has to do anything. You're putting the ability to pay into their hands. And that's something we're going to talk about over and over. You're giving them control. You're giving them the actionability to do what they want to do at their convenience, which is going to result in happier clients and you getting paid sooner and more reliably. Again, you get those instant payment confirmations, which is better communication, better transparency, and online payments will let you appeal to a younger, more tech-savvy audience. These are the people who have maybe grown up with Uber. They've grown up with Netflix. They don't know what the Blockbuster jokes are about. They don't understand it. They don't know that Amazon started as a book company. They have grown up in this world, and this is what you can consider to be their baseline expectations. And from a matter of personal preference, the data pays it out. People prefer to pay with a debit or a credit card. They want to pay online. They want to utilize paperless billing. And I love this last stat. 70% of people say that having multiple ways to pay a bill increases their satisfaction with a services provider. And again, it's about putting autonomy into their hands and letting them be actionable, letting them do what they need to do, and in a way that's convenient for them. That's going to drive satisfaction, which is going to drive positive results. A lot of these trends are happening because people are ditching their textbooks. More and more people are reporting that they don't use or rarely carry a checkbook with them. And 50, that's more than half, 55% fall into those two buckets. And the people that do have them, they maybe write them a few times a year, or they never write checks. And these numbers are only increasing when you look at younger generations. So to throw out the M word, if you talk about millennials, they're never using their checkbooks, and there's a lot of them out there. And so catering to the buying habits and to the communication habits and the technology habits of that sector of our economy is no longer optional. It's essential. And we need to be catering to these people and meeting them on their terms, delivering them the frictionless experiences that they've become accustomed to in other parts of their life. These numbers are only going to be going down, and we need, like I said, we need to meet people where they're at, because expectations are shifting. 65% of people expect to be able to pay for services online, and that doesn't say prefer, that doesn't say normally do, that's expect. And so this is baseline expectations that we're dealing about. We're meeting the needs of clients by allowing them to pay online. We are meeting their expectations, baseline meeting. And 79% expect local services providers, like a CPA, like a doctor, like an attorney, to provide the same payment options as the big national brands. So it's easy to look at all of this and to say, like, that's great, but I'm an accounting professional. I'm not Uber. It doesn't matter anymore. People have been groomed to operate in a certain way, to live their life in a certain way, and they're holding you to these standards, whether it's fair or whether we like it or not. So it's up to all of us to kind of look at the way we're serving our clients, get on their level, and create these frictionless experiences to delight them, to bring them back as repeat customers, to get those referrals in the door. And that is, again, that's our baseline. We're talking, beyond payments though. So meeting our clients and delivering these expectations is just the start. But this would be a pretty bummer of a presentation if I just said, hey, listen, you need to change the way you're doing things or process improve the way you're doing things to meet the needs of your clients, and that's the only net benefit we're going to talk about. But the reality is that beyond payments that we came here to look at, that next step really gets into the benefit to you and to your firm. So in addition to, surprising and delighting clients through online payments, letting them pay with just a click, letting them pay without thinking, letting it be as easy and frictionless as possible, there's a lot of net gains that go beyond the dollars and cents of online payments. One of those things is improving just the communication and the branding of your business. So, custom payment plans and custom payment pages that you can create through online payment solutions really help to create a more holistic experience when you can embed something on your website or on an invoice or in an email that has your logo, that has your look and feel, that has your contact information and address, reinforces some of the warm fuzzies and the confirmation of people who have already trusted you with their business, with their livelihood. It reinforces all of that with them to remind them of who you are and what you're doing. Even when you remove the online component of this, I think about the number of times I've gotten a bill for something in the mail that's just basically like bill details on a white piece of paper, and I'm like, is this legitimate? If I put a check in here and send it off, is this going to who I think it is? Create custom payment pages to collect payments in a way that's unique and makes sense to your firm, and not using a one-size-fits-all solution, like a retail point of sale swiper that's going to have things like, sales tax editions or gift card editions that don't make sense to your business. Create a payment page that reflects your company, that communicates who you are with your clients, that builds that brand loyalty, and that functions the way you expect it and you need it to based on how you run your firm. I mentioned this before, but scheduling payments in advance is a huge way to extend services to your clients in a number of ways, both in terms of convenience and just availability of what you do and the services that you provide. In terms of convenience, it really goes without saying. One of the biggest things you can do to streamline your business and your workflow is to set up your clients on a payment plan, to set them up on recurring payments, especially if you have work that you take on retainer or that's a repeat charge. If you can have this set it and forget it model of payments, how much time does that save you in your day? How much more efficient do you become if you don't have to go through that invoicing, bill collecting, payment deposit step every time you need to get paid for work that you did? If you can set up a client with recurring billing as part of your intake paperwork and then just let it run, how much time is that going to save you? What does that look like in your everyday? How much more comfortable will you be knowing that those transactions are going to come through on the day you need that money to come through, because that's how you've set it up to run? Your clients are going to benefit too, right? This doesn't work if it's not a win-win, and your clients are going to appreciate not having to go and collect payment information, not having to log on, not having to do something. It's all going to be taken care of and running in the background. So it's not only easy though, it really is an extension of your services. You know, especially right now, right? I'm recording this in May, and we're living in a phenomenally different world than we were two months ago. And people are struggling. People are having a hard time. People might not always have the cash on hand to pay for your services the second they're rendered. If you can break that up for people over the course of a month, how many more people could you help? How many more people could you serve? How many more people could benefit from your expertise and your knowledge? The numbers are staggering, and there's so much goodwill for people who are meeting their clients where they're at, who understand their circumstances, understand their situation, and help them in a time like this. And that's not just now, right? In a month, people will still appreciate that courtesy and that convenience. And it's as easy as building it into your or to your intake paperwork. So when you have a client come in, you know, give them the payment options they're looking for. That 70% of people who said that multiple payment options increases their satisfaction with a business. Meet those people where they're at. Give them opportunities and say, do you want to get set up on a payment plan? Do you want me to email your bill? Do you want a paper version of the bill? How do you want to pay? Meet them where they're at. Give them opportunities, boost their satisfaction. And it's going to be easy for you as well, because you're going to know that money's going to come in the door because you have happy, satisfied clients who you have made it easy for them to interact with you. You know, like I said, work with the way you do business. Make it simple. If you're emailing out invoices, don't change that up. If that's a system that works for you, online payments work in that measure. So throw your payment links into your emails and on your invoices. Put a button on your website. If you get a lot of web traffic, if people are used to coming to your website for things, build a payment portal in that connects to this website. Work with the way you do business. You don't need to, again, it's not a great solution if it requires you relearning and reimagining everything that you're doing on a daily basis. So find a solution that works with the way you run your business. Find something flexible. Find something that makes sense for you and your offices. And if you're using different technologies, maybe you're using a timekeeping and billing system, maybe you're using an invoicing system, find something that works. Find something that makes sense and that fits in with the software you already use and love. You know, being able to have your tools work in tandem, it's going to simplify so many things for you, rather than having to, you know, get a check in the mail, write down that you received it, record that in one solution, and then double check it with your bank to make sure that it deposited and that cleared, and that, you know, that there's so much duplicate work. There's so much busy work that's going on there. Let these tools talk to one another. Let the information flow freely between them. Or if you like working in spreadsheets, if you're one of our Excel super fans out there, find a solution that's going to let you export that data so that you can just crunch numbers to your heart's content. But find tools that work together, because again, this is all about process improvement for you, getting beyond just getting paid, beyond getting that money in the door, and making these process improvements that save you time, that make you more efficient, that make you happier, that let you go home maybe a little bit earlier at the end of the day and spend more time with your family or your very small dog in the corner. All of these things matter. But again, we can't discount the cash flow part of this. Giving clients more ways to pay does boost your cash flow. Online payment solutions are shown to boost payment speed by 39%. So if that's something that matters to you, if getting cash in the door sooner and more reliably and consistently gives you peace of mind, if that makes you smile, if that helps you get out the door a little bit quicker, it's worth it. And then the last thing we want to talk about is kind of what happens after that money does come in the door. Let's say you've delighted your payment, or you've delighted your payments, you've delighted your clients, you've given them this gorgeous, easy, simple way to pay. They clicked with a button on their phone while they were watching their Netflix, and then it's all done and it's easy. Great, you've got a happy client. You got your money in the door when you thought it was going to come in. Maybe you set up a recurring payment. Maybe you just sent out a payment link attached to an invoice. Somebody clicked to pay and everything worked exactly the way that it did. You are CPAs. You know that the buck doesn't start there or stop there. Apologies. You know that there's more. And so working with an online payment solution can go beyond just that payments into actually helping with your reporting and helping with your reconciliation. You know, a headache that we heard a lot from CPAs was that the phrase pulling my hair out was used multiple times with me when people talked about they liked accepting credit cards because it was convenient and their clients liked it, but they hated reconciling their payments because credit card fees would be debited, and so they would only get a net amount deposited into their bank account, and so reconciling that to their transactions or what they billed the client became an absolute nightmare. And so a great way to do this is to look for a processor that does 100% payment deposits. Someone who will put the full transaction amount into your bank account and will debit processing fees the following month so that your end of month numbers all match up. We want to make reconciliation a breeze because, again, if something doesn't, if something like this upends your entire process, if it makes life harder on you, that's not a solution. We need solutions that make sense and that simplify things rather than complicate it. So look for something that's going to give you 100% payment deposits where you're going to get that deposit in gross, and then you can, pay for those processing fees the following month after you've done your reconciliation, and you can make sure all of your numbers line up, everything matches, everything's right. You want to be able to create custom reports and tag transactions so that, maybe if you work for a practice that has multiple offices or you do different types of work and you want to be able to categorize transactions by those details or by those tags. Make sure you're working with a system that's flexible, that lets you create these custom reports and access information the way that you would want to use it. Again, only you know how you're running your office and how this stuff works. So find a solution that is as flexible as you are so that you can create all of these great reports so that you get the information you need at just a glance. A computer's doing the hard work for you, and you don't have to spend hours digging through papers, going through files and building them yourselves and duplicating data entries. A really great way to do that too is by utilizing something with a built-in search. And honestly, I've had people tell me that they do online payments for this reason primarily: the ability to search something online, to enter in a person's number, name, or an invoice number and have all the data pulled up for them at just like the touch of a button is such a game changer. It makes finding that needle in a haystack absolutely doable, absolutely workable, and it really reduces friction for you. Again, the frictionless element isn't just on the consumer side. This needs to work for you and the way that you are doing business. So I wanted to end with this parting note. This is an image of a friend of mine's kids. They're 6, 8, and 10 in this photo, and they set up a lemonade stand at a popular park in Vancouver. And as people were coming down from their hikes and from their walks to this lemonade stand, they would offer them lemonade, and people would say like, oh, I don't have any cash on hand, I don't. And these kids were super teched out. They had a square card reader so that people could swipe to pay for their charity lemonade stand. And again, 6, 8, and 10 when this picture was taken. And so if we're at a point where these kids understand what it looks like to deliver a frictionless experience for their customers and for themselves, it's time for all of us in professional services to get at this level and to up level our technology, save ourselves time, save ourselves effort, save ourselves worry and uncertainty, and deliver that exceptional experience that will just surprise and delight clients, keep them coming back, keep them singing your praises, and make every part of your life beyond just getting money in the door as easy and as simple as possible. So I want to thank you all so much for your time today. If you have any questions, you can call us at the number below. You can email experts@cpacharge.com, or if you want to reach out to me personally, again, send those dog pics. My email address is amann, M-A-N-N, at cpacharge.com. I would love to talk to you. I'd love to help you in any way I can. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you more later.